What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Next Phase Collectibles and Games podcast here on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify, and anywhere else that you get your podcast goodness. I am Travis from TCG Funhouse. Who are thus?
I'm Matt, also known as the Broke Nerd, legendary figure who's been missing for so long.
It's that thing where you disappear and you let people know that you left us, so that way we miss you more and you get more famous, right? That's what you
exactly.
do.
That's what I did for a few months a while ago. Then I came back and I was like, okay, it's starting to pick up. All right, time to disappear again.
That's right. Time to go Tupac on them again.
Yeah.
So we are officially back. We got a lot of stuff going on in this episode, guys. Really cool stuff. It's going to be a bit of a shorter episode, just because we want to, and that's kind of how we do things.
And it's also kind of my fault.
I wasn't directly going to blame you, but thanks for speaking up.
It's okay. Yeah. I'll take the blame. Everyone, it's my fault. It's going to be a shorter episode. If you guys wanted to know, I was in the hospital for a week. Blew out my back. Couldn't move my legs. It was that bad. So my wife wheeled me out to the car on a longboard. That's how I got in the car.
I can just see that. I literally can just see that right now. Just having Amber just shove you down this steep driveway and just hold on.
I almost crashed into the car. It could have been a real mess.
So you can probably say that you blew out your back from carrying the podcast, right?
More or less, yeah. No, but so I was in the hospital for about a week. Then I had back surgery. Got that fixed. Have a big, huge cut on my back. It's great. Doesn't feel good, actually. And that's why it's going to be short today, because I'm still in recovery. It's great.
But he has stepped up to the plate. He said, I've had enough sitting around, and he's ready to talk about some stuff, because some stuff went down for grading companies. We're going to talk about PSA's announcement that they did, announcement, I guess you can call it, and then CGC also raising their prices again in a very short period of time. They've raised their prices twice now, so that's coming down the pipeline. Plus we have questions from you guys from our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, all the places, right? TikTok, YouTube. You can find both the Broke Nerd and myself on all these social media platforms, so go check all those out in the description below and join us. Plus, we are going to be hanging and banging in our Discord server called Next Phase C&G Discord server, guys. So go join that, because we're going to have giveaways coming down the pipeline and all kinds of really, really cool stuff. We actually have a current giveaway going on right now from TCG Funhouse. So check my Instagram and socials to get details on that. So without further ado, we're going to be diving right in to the PSA and CGC announcements. So let's go ahead and talk about that right now. All right, so let's go ahead, and our very first and only topic today is PSA and CGC grading changes. So I'm going to pass it over to Matt, because he's got the diddly-doody details. Let it happen, Matt.
All right, so I don't know if you guys saw it, but this last week, CGC announced that they raised the prices on their grading again. So when they first started, we were pretty much, they were charging about $7 a card for your basic shipment, like your basic grading for bulk cards, which is what a lot of people are just sending in right now.
Yeah, right.
Then they did
great price.
Yeah, it's an awesome price. That was cheaper than anywhere else, and their turnaround time was fantastic. Then turnaround time got bumped back a little bit. Took a little longer for cards, and they bumped the price up to $9, which still is not bad. And that's for anything, for any card valued under $100. Yeah. So still pretty solid. But this week they announced that now the bulk cards are all going to be $15 a card to get graded. Which we all saw PSA bump up their prices to $20 a card, probably to try and slow things down. But I think CGC, as soon as PSA announced that they were going to stop grading cards and they weren't taking any more submissions, CGC probably just kind of panicked a little bit, got a massive wave of submissions.
Huge.
And just had to bump up the prices. That's kind of my guess, my theory on why they did it. But everything is getting bumped up. I don't have all the prices on everything. Couldn't find it again, but...
No, you're fine. But I agree with you. They are opportunistic right now. They are taking advantage of the market, right? Just like everybody is right now that is selling cards, or in this particular instance, providing a service for trading cards. Yeah. Because PSA they're still not accepting bulk submissions, right? They're still only accepting express submissions. Beckett's prices are out of this world. It's really not even
turnaround
worth.
time is long.
Very long. You're looking at a year turnaround time, if not more. You're looking at a very expensive cost to grade your cards, which means it's only worth sending in very expensive cards. It's not worth sending in your $25 full art whatever anymore. It's just not. So CGC, who was getting hundreds and hundreds and maybe even 1,000 submissions a day at this point, because they're basically the only grading company in the game
that was cheap enough to send to.
Bulk that's affordable.
Yeah.
They're like, shoot, we're going to triple our money here. We were charging $7. Let's give them a little bump to $9, and it didn't phase them at all. So they were like, we're going to go $15 on this bad boy because we're going to be raking in some cash over the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, they might have also done it as a deterrent too, though. Try and stop people
true.
from sending
Absolutely.
stuff in. Because I think that's what PSA attempted to do. Not necessarily
Didn't
take
work.
advantage of everybody that's sending stuff in, but as a way to stop people from sending stuff in. At least sending in their junker cards.
And then they just had to stop.
I mean, did you hear about that person that sent in 100 code cards to get graded to PSA?
Why?
Right
why
before
would
they did
do
that big jump, somebody sent in 100 code cards to get graded. And they were used. They were used code cards, but why would you grade them?
See, that's just weird, man. You're taking something that's worthless, considering it was used. I mean, even unused code cards are worth like 15, 20 cents. You know,
it's nothing.
So you're taking something that's completely worthless, and you're spending $10 to $20 to grade it to make it worth nothing. Still, so I don't. Whatever. Hey, to his each own, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So my guess is it's probably a little bit of a deterrent to stop people from sending in junker cards.
It's
during
true.
this time when they're already swamped.
Or even taking like lesser valued cards that are going to come in at like a PSA 5. Like, why are you're sending in a $7 card that's going to get a PSA 5 anyway? So you're technically worsening the value of the card than when it's raw.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, there's so many people that are trying to make money off of Pokemon right now that
don't know what they're doing.
I've seen people send in like modern bulk to PSA and CGC to get it graded. So I mean, you're sending in a 1 penny card, a 5-cent card that you can pick up on TCG Player because you think that it's going to get more value when it's graded. I mean, you can look on eBay, like some of them are on there. Look at some of the modern bulk from like Shining Fates.
So weird.
You can find PSA 9, PSA 10s of commons and uncommons.
It's so weird to me.
And they're selling for $10, $5.
And it costed more than that to grade the card still. So it's like, what the heck, man? So yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do if you're PSA and Beckett and CGC in this kind of market for sure. So that's the price raise on CGC, which hey, you can't really argue. It's a good business. They're going to be making a crap ton of money on it, and they are legitimizing themselves in the card grading community, which they were on the fence there for a while. People really weren't sure what the value of these CGC graded cards were going to be, but they're going to be just as valuable. Up there with PSA and Beckett at some point down the road, because we're going to have a long period of stretch where they're the only ones grading cards. So
yeah, I will say this: I have seen a few market analysis been done. Have been done recently on the difference between PSA and CGC, and from what I've seen, a lot of these people are reporting that CGC 10s are actually a higher value than most PSA 10s.
Really? Mm-hmm. I know they're harder on their grading, so I wonder if that's because
I'm not even just
there's less of them.
Like I'm not even talking about the pristine 10s, which is also an option, which is like the black label 10s from Beckett, but a normal 10 from CGC are averaging higher sale values than PSA 10s of certain cards.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, man. So, hey, $15 is still a pretty good deal on bulk submissions then. If you're going to be looking to get in some tins, specifically on some modern cards, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, let's just give a little warning though to everybody. Make sure you value your cards correctly before you send them in, so that way you aren't sending in a card that is worth 5 cents in actual market value and spending $15 to get it graded, hoping to sell it for like $30, $40. It's not worth it.
And another thing too. Don't think you're going to create a market that's not there.
Exactly.
There's a reason why there's not a market for common and uncommon graded cards, because it's not a thing. Mm-mm. So don't be like, I'm going to be the first person in the game. I'm going to own this modern day uncommon graded card market for PSA 10s and CGC 10s. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop yourself.
But if you guys are concerned about it and you do have questions about it, just jump over to our Discord, hit us up, and we will happily talk you through the process and help you figure out the value of your cards, if it's worth it or not to send it in, and what you can approximately expect to get out of that card once it's graded. But seriously, we love helping you guys. Just hit us up on the Discord.
We're always open on Discord, guys. And on top of that, just before we move on to the PSA stuff, on the Discord server, we got a couple new channels up there to promote conversation, guys. We have a debate section now where you can drop your Pokemon hot takes or trading card hot takes and see what the community thinks, whether they want to agree or disagree with you. We have daily trivia going on now as well, where we are going to have some prizes and stuff linked to the trivia scores and all that kind of stuff. So rankers, all kinds of stuff, guys. So come hang out. Tons of interactive opportunities and actions that you can do, as well as some giveaways going on. So join that Discord server.
Pretty fun.
But it's fun.
Very
it's fun stuff. It's fun.
Very fun. Very exciting.
But it's time to talk about the PSA stuff. So there's been kind of a huge pseudo announcement. I'm not sure if it's officially been announced or if it's just something that kind of got leaked. Maybe Matt, you can break it down a little bit more for us. But I think they're talking about computers potentially grading cards. Matt, what do you know?
Yeah, pretty much from what I've seen, I think it is a leak because it was posted on somebody else's social media rather than the people who were in this little Zoom meeting, I guess it was.
Right, yes. That's what I saw,
I think it was the CEO of PSA.
Excuse me.
And a couple other people just from maybe a podcast or something.
It looked like some kind of TCG podcast. Come on, man.
So
we're not copying you or you're not copying us, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a leak or an actual statement or whatever, but it was the CEO of PSA talking that released the information, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, absolutely cool. What did he say?
So basically what he was talking about was how they're going to start introducing AI, and that's kind of what this break is for. They're going to be introducing AI technology to start sorting through cards. And potentially even grading cards, which is kind of interesting. But he said that the main focus of this AI technology is going to be to sort out any cards that have been tampered with, that are fakes, or that don't meet the minimum grade that the person wanted on submission. So if you submit and say that you want a minimum grade of an 8, but the card's going to get a 7, they're just going to send it back to you, ungraded.
Right. Because a lot of people do that thing where they click, I only want to grade it if it's a Gem Mint 10 or whatever like that. And it's now you're wasting their time because you should be able to determine roughly if you think you're going to get a 10 or not. If you're sending in a 9 and clicking that button, you're wasting money. So, but that's a conversation for a whole other day. But I am super intrigued about this pseudo announcement that's happening right now because I am 100% on board with computers and a program doing 100% of the grading on the cards. And I'm not even talking about this little checklist where it's going to say, yes, send it in, no, don't send it in. I want measurements, computers, software, doing everything, because the biggest gripe that I've had from myself and other people that I know is you send in a flawless card, they send it back a 9. And you're like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this card, right? Yep. I've even seen people crack the case, send it back in, and then they got a Gem Mint 10 the second time.
Happens all the time.
So it's insane that that's even a thing. And I would almost say it's completely unacceptable. So if my only major job and service that I provide is grading these cards and I cannot give consistent results on these cards, that's a huge problem.
Major
and that's
issue.
because they have individuals looking at the cards, right? So this guy might give me a 9, this guy might give me a 10, this guy might give me an 8. That's bad business in my opinion, because it's just too, you're putting I don't even know what the word is because I'm so passionate right now. You're putting the fate of the trading card price in somebody's hand that may not be, that might be their first week on the job. They may have just graduated from their grading training. Who knows?
Yep.
But
or they might be tired.
Maybe one guy is stingy and one guy's not.
They might be tired. They might not be feeling well that day. They might just be having a bad day. And all of
girlfriend just dumped them. I'm going to give them all 9s.
Well, and then who knows? Maybe they just got a bonus or a raise that day, and that's going to affect them grading the cards better. Because
10s.
When Hidden Fates was released, I saw somebody post a picture of their PSA 10 shiny Mewtwo, and half of Mewtwo's arm was cut off, and I swear it almost had another piece of another card on the side of it. It was so off-centered, but it got a gem in 10. I don't know how, but
so ridiculous.
But it did.
And you know how that wouldn't happen is if they have computers grading these cards. So I am all for, like, there's going to be some purists out there who are kind of like, no, I want that touch of the essence of man on my card. I want that human error. I want that human error on my card that could give me a 9 or a 10. And no, dude.
I'm sorry. It's the essence of man for me.
I want the man on my card.
That's too much. That's too much. I think there might have been a line that was crossed there.
It's listed on the label, essence of man.
It's a new subgrade, essence of man.
Subgrade.
You get an extra 0.5 for essence of man.
All right. But seriously, with the AI grading system, we're not going to have any of these mix-ups. Every card is going to be graded in the exact same manner.
Big grade.
The exact same style, exact same type. So your card and my card are going to go through the exact same steps on the exact same program to where there's not going to be problems of like that. So what do you think about that particular part?
No, dude, I honestly wholeheartedly agree. I think having the AI systems at least doing like the measurings, looking at the corners, things like that, I think is genius.
Yep.
Now, and in my personal opinion, I think that it might be helpful just to have a second witness of an actual human taking a look at the cards after, just to make sure that if it's at a different angle, maybe you see a different kind of scuff or something like that that's on the card, which I think is really beneficial.
Yep.
I
definitely think they should have an essence of man quality control as well. So, it goes through the AI system, it gets the grade, and you just got to have somebody touch it to go, yep, computer did its job. So that way there's not those big problems.
Essence of man stamped. Approved.
Stamped man.
They start putting a little stamp in the corner of the bottom of your PSA card. Essence of man approved.
All day, baby. All right. So if you're on YouTube right now watching this or listening, guys, please comment down below. What do you think about AI's grading cards potentially like all the way through in the future? I know that's not what the announcement was really, but that's where it's headed. In my opinion, that is the next step of where this is going to be going. So, and I'm all for it. So I'm really excited. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think. But that part is done for us. We're done talking about the grades. We got some questions coming down from you guys over on our socials, and we're going to answer those coming here. All right, it is question time. We are always asking for your guys' questions or votes or ranks or things like that. So, I know Matt got a really cool question that really excites me. Essence of man. So, Matt, what is that question? And give me your first response, and then I'll give you my rebuttal. Let's go.
All right, so the question is from Magapoo on Instagram.
Oh, I know them. They're cool, dude. They've been supporters for a long time.
And they're on YouTube, too.
Yes.
And, they're awesome.
Cool.
So they asked, do you think Pokemon TCG will ever go back to the way it was? And they also said, love the podcast.
Awesome. Really, really cool.
So, appreciate that. So, I honestly think that eventually it'll go back to a very similar way to how it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever go back completely the way it was, just because things have definitely changed in the Pokemon community. People have realized that the collectors are willing to spend a whole crap ton more money on the cards than they're actually worth.
Yep.
And I don't think people are ever going to stop taking advantage of that, but I do think that as the whole pandemic thing settles down a little bit and people get more comfortable again and things kind of get resolved with the scalpers, with however it gets taken care of, I do think it will go back to a much more normal sense of the game, but I do think it is going to be a new normal.
Yeah. So
if that makes sense.
So I'll give you what my thought is. So when I think of what your new normal is going to be, I don't ever think that vintage is going to go back the way it was. I think vintage is always going to demand high dollar, especially now that we're having this big strain of the past 6 months of just tons of people opening this limited product, right? Because there's sealed vintage stuff is very limited. That's why it's so expensive. And every time somebody opens up a base set booster box, that's one less sealed base set booster box out there in the world. So every time somebody opens one up, yours or whoever has one, I don't, I'm poor.
Me either.
It's going to go up in value. Every time one is broke, it's going to go up in value. So I don't ever see Wizards of the Coast vintage Pokemon cards coming down in price. I really don't. Some of the commons and uncommons and things like that, even the rares, they might come down in price. But your big hitters, like your first edition cards, your holos, your Charizards, those are always going to demand top dollar. So that's not going to change,
especially the
in my
first
opinion.
editions.
Yeah, first editions, absolutely. I say it all the time when I'm talking to people. I say, even if they decide, like they did with Evolutions, even if they decide to reprint Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket, and anniversary sets, they are never going to print first edition ever again. Ever again.
It's true.
So it's never going to happen.
I think the other thing we need to take notice of, too, is that the fan favorites will also always go up in price.
Flareon,
let's be honest. Like if you've been watching the market at all, Muck, Dark Arbok, Dark Weezing, those have all stayed the same price for a long time.
That's so true.
Nobody wants them.
You know what hasn't stayed the same price for a long time? Typhlosion. Flareons, Jolteons, Rayquazas, Gengars.
I bought a Rayquaza not too long ago. I bought it for $13 on TCG Player. You don't want to know what the price was the next week?
What?
$42.
That's insane. That's insane, dude. Strike while it's hot, for sure. So, Gyarados, another one that's, always going to be up there in price. So
that one spiked like this week.
It's nuts, dude. It's
nuts.
It's almost like people forget that they're there, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to buy 100 of these now.
Yeah, seriously, and then they just buy all of them out, and then lowest listed value is $40.
Yeah. So
because Gyarados jumped up $10 this last week.
That's what I think the new normal is going to be. Vintage is going to at least be a cash cow. It always is going to be. But I do think modern Pokemon is going to get back to, I guess you can call it normal, right? To where you're going to be able to find it in the stores. It's not going to be emptied out at 8 a.m. at Target every Friday. It's not going to be. We're already starting to see that a little bit with Battle Styles and Vivid Voltage. You can almost find those on the shelf a little bit here and there. With Chilling Rain coming and these other sets coming that don't have Charizards in them, that aren't subsets. They don't have shiny Pokemon in them. You're probably going to be able to find those on the shelf a little bit here or there. And I would probably say in a year or two, we are going to get back to normal and finding modern Pokemon cards on the shelf. So that's my thought.
I would agree. I think you're still going to have a lot of people that are trying to sell them aftermarket.
Yeah.
At the higher prices.
Stuck with it, dude.
Yeah, but I think it's still going to happen. I think there's still going to be people that are going to try and flip them.
Yep.
But it'll be a lot easier to get around it.
And I'm telling you, keep an eye, in the next 8-9 months or so, keep an eye on your Facebook Marketplace, because you're going to be starting to see people that want to try to get rid of their stock that they're holding on to that they haven't been able to.
They just keep buying it.
You might be able to get some under MSRP for people who are trying to buy out of their Pokemon. So keep an eye out on those. You might be able to find some good deals coming down the pipeline. So
yeah, seriously, if you just wait patiently, you will see it under MSRP. I guarantee it.
Yep. Especially the modern stuff. Again, vintage, probably not, but modern, you will. People are going to be trying to unload cases and cases of ETBs that they've held on forever, trying to flip for double the price, and they're not going to be able to. And they're going to get sick of flipping them for $3-4 profits after shipping. So it's going to stop, and then you might be able to find some good deals. So keep an eye out.
People are going to liquidate, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, let's go. All right. So thank you for the question, Magapoo. We're going to move forward. Over on my Instagram, I actually asked the question. I did a little quizzy quiz. And I asked, what do you guys think is the most underrated Pokemon ever? And it was actually a surprise answer. The number one answer that I received, which had quite a bit of votes, was Venusaur. And it's kind of a weird question or a weird answer, because Venusaur is actually very popular. But when you compare it to Charizard and Blastoise, its counterparts, it really is the most underrated Pokemon in that essence. Even though in terms of the 900-some Pokemon that we have, it's probably ranked in the top 25 in popularity, I would say. But good vote on that. So, Matt, I'm going to pass the question on over to you. What do you think is the most underrated / underappreciated Pokemon ever?
Well, we talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to say one of my favorite Pokemon, just because you don't hear a lot of people say they like it that much. And it's Golduck, my number 4. I love Golduck. I think Golduck is awesome. But he gets forgotten about a lot because of Psyduck. Everybody loves Psyduck, but then nobody really cares about Golduck. But it's one of the coolest designed Pokemon ever. Super awesome.
It really is.
Just really awesome. But I will say this, too. I forgot about this, but remember that Twitter poll that they did a while ago for like the new rankings of the top
Yeah,
Pokemon?
That was weird. Weird answers.
There was only one Pokemon. I can't remember what it was, but there was only one Pokemon that didn't get a single vote. Out of 16,000 votes, only
Not
one.
a single vote? Oh my
only
gosh, that
one
poor Pokemon.
didn't get a vote. I can't remember for the life of me what it is, but I'm gonna figure out what it was.
We're gonna have to look it up and post it in
time.
our Discord. We gotta look it up and put it in the Discord because I gotta know. I don't know, and I gotta know which one Pokemon did not even get a vote.
I remember I looked through the whole list, and at the end there was one Pokemon and it said 0 votes.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. I'm so sad for that Pokemon. So
I know.
But good call there because, Psyduck gets a lot of love. It's one of the cuter Pokemon, right? And then it had its big part in Detective Pikachu. So it picked up a lot of fandom there as well. And I don't even, did they even have a Golduck inside Detective Pikachu? Like, it might not even be an appearance.
I don't think I saw one. And I don't think I've really seen one in hardly any of the movies. Pokemon movies.
It's
you
true.
at least see other Pokemon in the background, but I mean...
I think Misty had a Golduck at one point, but still, it's almost like she had a Psyduck and then had a Golduck and then reverted it back to a Psyduck because Psyduck was more popular. Like it's almost like that's what happened.
Nobody cared about the Golduck, so she never brought out her Golduck.
Poor Golduck.
Poor guy.
So nice,
Mrs.
good answer.
Golduck is a beautiful card, though.
It is. It really is. Dark Golduck. Oh, I love that card. So
that is an awesome one.
All right, my vote is actually going to go to Machamp. Right? So it kind of fits into the same spot that Venusaur does to where it's... I wouldn't say that people don't appreciate Machamp or they don't like Machamp. I feel like the Pokemon Company gives Machamp a little bit of love here and there. But in terms of like its Kanto counterparts, it's definitely one of the lesser enjoyed Pokemon, right? So like Gengar is one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. Dragonite, one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. And I think Machamp should be listed up there in that range with Gengar and Alakazam and Dragonite. Like, it should be right there as well. And I think it's kind of forgotten. It's like one tier below on popularity and use from Pokemon International and Pokemon Company and stuff like that. So Machamp is my vote. I love Machamp. Super nostalgic. It was the very first holographic card that almost all of us got back in the day because it came in the theme deck, and we all, I still have a bunch of them first edition holos because I love it so much. It is the epitome of nostalgia. So Machamp is my most underrated, underappreciated Pokemon because I think it should be a top tier level right along with Blastoise and Dragonite and Gengar. So that's
I think some of the reason for that, though, let's be honest, they've been using Machamp as like a filler kind of throwaway card for a while. Look at Champion's Path, like Machampion's Path. That's what everybody calls it because you get so many Machamps.
Yep,
and everybody just views them as trash. Like they just throw them out,
And they didn't give him a V. Where's my Machamp V? Come on.
He's got a GX, but he's got one GX, and it's not even like a super cool artwork. It's kind of a dud.
It is kind of a dud. There's a Rainbow Machamp. What set is Rainbow Machamp in? I don't remember. There is a Rainbow Machamp. Is it
Crimson Invasion?
It might be Crimson Invasion.
One of the least loved sets ever.
The worst set ever in history. I hate Crimson Invasion so much. I would rather open an entire case of Sun and Moon base set before I opened any Crimson Invasion. Seriously.
There's a lot of sets I'd open before Crimson Invasion. Probably not Steam Siege, though, but...
Dude, I would take Steam Siege over Crimson Invasion, dude.
No way.
It's because I cannot stand...
We opened up one pack of Crimson Invasion today from a mystery box that we got. My son pulled the gold water energy.
Okay, see? Well, so your son now likes Crimson Invasion. It's now his favorite set, Good
the Rainbow Sylvali, which is a super underrated card.
Sylvali.
I love
So I'll
Sylvali.
tell you why I don't like Crimson Invasion. It's because it's based on the Ultra Beasts, right?
Yeah.
And I hate the Ultra Beasts. I think the Ultra Beast is the worst thing that the Pokemon Company has done with any of their games in a very, very long time. I feel like they add zero. I mean, this whole Pokemon from another dimension is cool. Like, I like the premise of it.
That's why it's fun on the show. The show is so awesome.
Dude, but the artworks are so bad.
Yeah,
like,
artworks are trash. The game, not fun.
They don't fit in. They don't fit into Pokemon. They're like, hey, here's these other interdimensional Pokemon that don't even look like Pokemon. Here's one that's Steka Teka Teka Teka. It's a bunch of little things. Again, the premise is really cool. It's a bunch of little, nanites. Like, cool, I get it. That's really good. It doesn't look like a freaking Pokemon at all.
It's true.
So I'm sorry.
But like I said, it fit in the show really well, and they pulled it off fantastically. But in the game, it was trash.
It was bad. And Silvally, legendary? Seriously? Silvally's not
I don't understand why he's a legendary. I really don't get that either. That needs to be taken down a tier. I think Silvally's awesome, but definitely bring it down.
If Silvally was a pseudo legendary, I'm down. Sign me up.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Yep, pseudo-legendary Silvally. I'm cool. I like Silvally. But it is probably my least favorite legendary Pokemon, of all time. Because when you play the game, it does not feel like you're playing with a legendary Pokemon. It does not feel like you're getting a legendary or you're evolving into a legend. No, it just feels like a decent little Pokemon,
He's kind of around. Sure. In the show, he's there from the beginning, so...
Yep.
And he's not perceived as a legendary Pokemon at all in the show.
At all.
He's just somebody's Pokemon. He's just owned by somebody the entire time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Gladion though. He's a really cool.
He's cool.
Trainer. So.
Really cool goth emo kid.
Team Skull baby all day. All right. So awesome podcast, man. It was a lot of fun. We're glad to have you back. We got some changes coming down the pipeline, guys. We're working on making the podcast live on Twitch and YouTube, so make sure you guys are ready for that. Because that will be coming most likely at some point in May. Matt's getting better every single day.
The days in between.
One good day, one bad
total
day.
Trash.
But he's getting better every day, so we just wanted to make sure that we had something to post for you guys because Matt misses you. I miss hanging and talking with you guys. So where you won't miss us is over on Discord. So again, guys, go join. But yeah, so that's what we got for you. Matt, is there anything you want to say before we let these fine folks go on with their day?
Just the usual, we love you guys. You guys are great. We appreciate you. We love you.
You gotta get that Barry White voice, we love you guys so much. I have no clue. That was terrible. That was scary.
That was
not
rough.
Sexy.
That was rough. You gotta get a little smoother.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I have to go take a shower now. Sorry. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like button. Drop a sub if you're new to the channel. If not, check us on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff, guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.